So we all know that there is legislation that went through the European Union. I don't really know how to. We all know that the iPhone and other small devices are slated to be required to have USB-C. Okay. We also know that it's looking like the iPhone with USB-C is still going to have some implementation of the Made for iPhone program instilled and integrated into the firmware, so forth and so forth. We also know that when that happens, things don't work the way that they're supposed to unless you have the official Apple product or a product that has been certified through the Made for iPhone program. Cool. Now, somebody did the digging. I mean, of course, you just have to read it. Like, I didn't read it all, but apparently, in whatever legislation that has passed over there in Europe, part of the entire, I guess, basis of this is one to, I don't know if it says it, but to reduce e-waste. Like, that's the what the goal is, whatever. But one of the things, the stipulations that are in the law is that yes, you need to have a common port, which is going to be USB-C, but you cannot limit charge rates, I believe, is what it says. You cannot limit charge rates. So if the phone is capable of charging at whatever using your own equipment, then if I plug something into it that isn't your own equipment or certified through your program, it still needs to charge at that rate. Cool. Now, that's a good thing. Charge speeds are important. It's nice to be able to quickly charge your phone, in a matter of minutes. I mean, I don't need warp speed charging, but I will say when I'm charging my Zen phone, when I use my laptop charger, it charges relatively quick. But when I have my just regular USB-C charger over here plugged into a 5-watt brick, I'll charge it through the night that way, and it works, but just obviously a lot slower. So yeah, charge speeds are important, okay? But the one thing I don't think it mentions, which for less people is important, but I still think is an important thing, I don't think it mentions data transfer speeds. Now, if I'm wrong, just stop the video and, let me know in the comments, but from what I have seen, there hasn't been any mention about data transfer speeds. You, watching this, might not care. The person that commented on one of the videos that I made about the Zen phone also doesn't care. They know, for that person and other people, that USB-C with a USB 2.0 connection is fine for you. Transferring files at 480 megabits per second, that's okay with you. Hey, more power to you. If you want to wait 10 minutes to transfer some files, you're okay with that, okay? But I am not, okay? And there are plenty of other people who are not. And I will look at the companies themselves who make these devices. I have an old iPhone over there, so I'm not going to go get it, but I have I think an iPhone 6 over there. The companies themselves market their devices, and I've said this before, as these movie-making devices. Camera so good you can record an entire movie on it. Great. Am I going to do that? No, but I might record some videos, and other people do. A lot of people shoot stuff on their iPhones, home videos, family outings with friends, just something you might see and want to share, whatever. You might record it on your phone. What do you do with that file once it's on your phone? Some people upload it to a cloud, and that cloud could be a social media site, could be Apple Cloud, iCloud, Apple Cloud, could be your Google Drive, could be your Samsung. I'm sure they have a cloud, I don't know. But a lot of people upload stuff to the cloud, and at that point, the data transfer speed on your phone doesn't really matter, because you're not using the port to do anything except for charge. Cool. And for you, that's fine. But for people like myself, and there are other people out there, and even if you decided to use your phone to record a movie, you are not uploading that movie to a cloud service. That would take forever to upload an entire movie. And again, think about this though, when you watch a movie, it's finished. Okay, it's, an hour and a half, maybe two. But when you're recording a movie, there's a ton of extra stuff in there that you need to get off of the device that you use to record to then edit it. So we're talking 40, 50, 60, maybe even hundreds of gigs. I mean, your phone might not have that much storage, but we're talking a lot of space to try to upload to a cloud server. Not going to happen. One, in fact, the only one that would, well, two, you might not have enough space in your cloud to do it, which, okay, and then, yeah, of course, they'd want you to pay more for more space. But two, the data transfer speeds wirelessly, whether it's through your cell phone service provider, unless you are in a ultra-wideband 5G network location standing on the right street corner, for the most part, those upload speeds are really slow. Now, granted, even as I'm thinking about what I just said, I know download speeds for those ultra-wideband connections are fast. Upload speeds, I don't know what they are. Maybe I'll put that on the screen, or maybe you already know. But if you're uploading over a cellular network, going to take forever. Even at home, if I chose to upload through a Wi-Fi connection, now, and I'll go down another rabbit hole in a second. But if I'm just uploading it to a cloud through my home Wi-Fi, even through a wired connection, it still takes a long time. So uploading that way takes a long time. Now, if you have it set up where your router is connected to truly like an intranet and, you're able to truly utilize the speeds of that router, not the speeds of your internet service provider, you might get some better performance there, like creating like a peer-to-peer network through you might get some better speeds there. But most of us aren't doing that, okay? Most of us aren't doing that. So what I always come back to is, well, we have a solution to this problem. And it's not even new. We have a solution to this problem. Use the port that comes on the device. So as I'm looking at my devices right here, I have my Zen phone, which I've complained about. This is a USB 2.0 port. My iPhone over there has a Lightning port, and that's USB 2.0. Yeah, it sucks. In 2023, this is unacceptable. There is no reason for this phone to have data transfer so slow. All right? Then I look at my Pixel, which is USB 3 point something, and same thing with this Sony Xperia 5 Mark IV, same thing with this Apple iPad mini. USB 3 point something, I don't remember, but let's just say 5 gigabits per second. So all in all, that's 10 times faster, roughly, than USB 2.0, all right? 10 times faster. And you notice it. You notice it, like light and day difference in terms of data speed transfer right there, or data transfer speeds. When you plug in a USB 3 device to a USB 3 port compared to plugging a USB 2.0 device into a USB 3 port, night and day difference. And again, it's not new technology. So I'm not asking for the latest and greatest. Now, this over here, this little guy, transfers at USB 3 point something. I forget the numbers, but if you can see, there's a little 10 right there. So now we're talking 10 gigabits per second. Okay, it's fast. And I got my supposedly USB 4 cable, which is 40 gigs per second. But you have these newer technologies, and USB 4 is relatively new, but 3 point whatever, 10 gig, USB 10 gig is not new. Thunderbolt 3 on this MacBook over here is not new. I'm not even asking for data speeds that fast, okay? So USB 3 at a minimum should be what is 5 gigabits per second at a minimum should be what it is. And for anybody to think that I'm insane for asking for some technology that came out back in 2008, I don't want to say there's something wrong with you, but something might be wrong with you. And you'll, for anybody who understands where I'm coming from, great. But for those who are also still trying, well, what do you really need it for? If you were to say, okay, you're okay with USB 2, which USB 2 came out in the year 2000, if there were other components on that phone that also were released in the year 2000, let's put a camera on there that was made in the year 2000. How would you feel? It still takes pictures, but, they look like trash. Or let's put a screen on there that came out in the year 2000. I mean, it works. Is it a touchscreen? We got to bring back maybe the physical keyboard, but we put a screen, like it works. What do you really need a touchscreen for? I mean, we were doing fine without touchscreen, so what do you really need a touchscreen for? Okay, so you start making these compromises, and yeah, again, just because you don't use it doesn't mean other people don't use it. And I will emphasize this. I'm not asking for a Thunderbolt 4 port on the bottom of a phone. Like, that would be overkill. The iPad Pro, I think, has a Thunderbolt 3 port on it. And I don't need that, but, it's there. USB 3. All I'm asking for. Something that came out in 2008. So, to go back to what this was about, European Union said whatever they said about charging speeds because, people, complain about those, which I get it, so I'm not going to knock them for complaining about it. But data transfers definitely weren't, I guess, at the forefront of anybody's mind when they decided to put that stuff into law. Now, what I will say though is, and what would make my complaints just completely null and void is, I'm looking at it from a, hey, hardware vendor, you should do this, but the European Union, it's not just Parliament. The European Union is looking at it from the perspective of, well, if your technology can do it, you can't lock people out of it. So if Apple chooses to put USB-C on the phone, which it looks like they're being forced to do it, but then if they choose to just make it operate at USB 2, regardless of whose cable you're using, then my complaints are null and void for the basis of this particular video. I still think USB 3 should be the minimum, but if they are saying everybody gets USB 2, regardless of whose cable you're using, then it's like, well, there's nothing the European Union could have done about that. And I would not want them to say you have to now have a minimum data transfer speed. So I hope USB 3 is what's on the bottom of the phone. I think it's looking like the regular iPhone is going to have USB 2 and the Pro is going to have USB 3 point whatever. And at that point, I'm like, what? USB 3 is a pro level spec? Like, it's asinine. But the issue, as I said with the last video that I made about the headphone jack, if you, the consumer, continue to buy this stuff, they have no reason to change for the betterment of you. They will do whatever they can to squeeze every penny out of you, and they will penny pinch when it comes to the production of their products, all those P's right there. But USB 3 we shouldn't be even having a conversation of, well, is it USB 2 or is it USB 3? It doesn't really, if you're marketing your device as a movie making device, I expect something that allows me to get something off of it quickly that isn't a proprietary solution, i.e. I want to plug a wire into it. And I don't care how fast AirDrop might be. I don't need AirDrop. I shouldn't need AirDrop to do it. I shouldn't have to have other Apple products to make this work properly. I did what you did in your advertisement. I shot a whole movie on this phone. Now I don't want to have to take a day getting it off. So USB 3, heck, USB 3.2, whatever it's called now, 10 gig, like USB 3, 10 gig, whatever. There's 20 gig, there's 40 gig, whatever. Just not USB 2.0. So we'll see what happens. Again, USB, the U stands for universal. So I should not have to worry about who made this product. Is it going to work? No, it should be universal. So does it need to be 10 gig? No. Should it be at least 3? Yes, that's my opinion. But I don't want to. Was it made by Sabrent? Was it made by Monoprice? Was it made by Apple or Samsung? Like, who made the cable? Oh my gosh. Is it going to work the way that it's supposed to work? I should not have to worry about who made it. Now, we'll say this. Don't go to the gas station buying those cheap trash cables. But as long as it's made by a reputable company, you should not have any issues using it, no matter which device you choose to plug it in. So are data transfer speeds important for most people? Probably not. Are charging speeds more important for most people? Most likely. But that doesn't mean data transfer speeds aren't important to enough of us.